し、中央のカメラで映像を撮ることを試みます。配管から投入されたロボットが着地するのは格納容器内の通路。定期検査の際に人が歩けるよう原子炉を取り囲む形で設置されています。
With negative the fixed brain part, the orientable plane, along with the worksheet clarity projection, that in particular case of the fixed brain, for example, fixed plane along the horizontal direction of the thorax, but because of the traditional symmetry along with each brain configuration, we get also its orientable image. We have to take into account. And we shouldn't forget that there is another discrete global consistency condition associated with the absence of global gauge anomalies and can be related to phase theory constraints introduced in this subject as as far as supersymmetry goes, in general, the cycles that those distinct brains wrap should be supersymmetric, the so-called volume minimizing 3 cycles or special Lagrangians, which is hard to address in general on Calabi-Yau spaces, but in toroidal cases, this condition becomes very simple and geometric again. In particular, one can derive that basically the 3 cycles that brains wrap have to make SV3 rotation relative to the orientable plane. We can write this condition in terms of wrapping numbers of the cycles and U moduli of each two tori. A side remark, in general, and brains that wrap such 3 cycles will produce for us non-abelian U anti-symmetry, but if they are parallel with orientable plane, there is additional orientable projection leading to symplectic symmetry. So most of these original constructions were primarily done on Z2 Z2 orbifolds, and I would just like to highlight the work from 2 years ago with Tianjun Li and Tao Liu, where we systematically searched for 3 family standard models in this context based on structure that is descending from Cady-Salam symmetry. And then there were further technical developments, putting brains on rigid cycles, also fluid type construction. There was also work on other orbifolds, which to get to the standard model typically did require brain recombination. But there is promising example also of Honecker and Odd that has just MSFM spectrum, but not color. There are also on the orbifolds new type of gut construction that I'll try to highlight in the following, since they are relevant for neutrino masses and new clipped SV5 constructions. Along the actual constructions of the spectrum, also the calculation of couplings can be developed. In particular, Yukawa couplings, 3 linear couplings have very neat geometric interpretation, and one can actually calculate them fully by using the formal field theory technique. Complementary work on scalar potential calculation has been performed. I should also mention work by Sieberger and Lust about loop corrections to gauge couplings, also an important work. And for Fermi, interactions have also been studied. In particular, some relevance of them for flavor changing neutral currents if the string scale were low, which actually is not in this case. And in the other context, for the dimension 6 operators in SV5, that may be relevant for proton decay. So, the last but not least thing, also landscape analysis of such Z2 constructions have been performed, resulting in 1 in a billion standard models. And actually a recent work we heard that from Wati yesterday confirmed that actually the number of such supersymmetric constructions is finite, and the number of standard models is of order 10, which is to think for the exclusive systematic search between standard models that are the standards of Dar es Salaam. So within this framework, I want to highlight some of the features of this new constructions of the dots within new orbitals, and briefly also some results for more complete calculation of dimension 6 operators for such dots that may be relevant for closure decay. So let me remind you why SU5 dots. They actually come very naturally in this context. In particular, I already pointed out that with each brane configuration, you to orientable planes, you have also the image, orientable image of it. So for example, if I choose a set of A configurations, 5 of them, we would have U5 gate symmetry, and then I put another set of configuration just for to be specific, 2 of them on top of orientable plane to get another symplectic gate symmetry. Now, locally, at an intersection of original brane and its image that coincides, for example, with this orientable plane, we get 2 types of states. One set of states are massless states that are quantized by seeing the stress between A configuration and the brane B configuration, which would give us bifundamental presentation. But we also get states that stress between the original configuration and its image, which could give us either symmetric or antisymmetric. In this particular case, it's only in local construction here, it's only antisymmetric one. So basically, 5 bars and 10s would act as chiral matter and would be precisely in the right representation of Burul-Draglashow SU5 dot model. So it comes almost for free within this framework, so it's worth exploring such dots. Well, we actually have done a systematic search for such dot configurations, again within Z2 cross Z2 orbitals, restricting to 3 families examples. And this is not in general true, but in this context, when we restrict to 3 family, we necessarily, with antisymmetric representations, also got symmetric ones. But this is specific limitation of these 2 cross Z2 constructions. But what was really a bummer was the fact that couplings of 10s and 5s that represent the standard model Higgs are absent due to U1 charge of U5 symmetry. So basically the top couplings in SU5 dots are absent conservatively, or bottom couplings in flipped SU5 are absent conservatively. So there could be only non-conservative origins for such couplings, which we expect when we take string coupling strong and get anti-union Z2 holonomic spaces. Nevertheless, that doesn't prevent us to explore more such constructions, and in particular the recent motivation that I had was to try to find constructions that may have implications for neutrino masses and better structural flipped SU5 constructions. So, first, neutrino masses. If we happen to have massive vector pairs of symmetric representations, those actually, after symmetry breaking through brane splitting, would contain the canonical triplets of electroweak symmetry breaking. And if this massive electroweak triplets couple to the Higgs doublets and matter in appropriate way, in principle, such couplings could introduce Majorana type couplings in this context. So within this dot SU5, we have a chance of seeing an effective coupling that act like Majorana type couplings for neutrino masses. I have to emphasize that for direct standard model construction, this is not possible. We have to start with the dot and intersecting the branes in this context. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is, for example, for flipped SU5 construction, we also need pairs of 10 and 10 bars, which would now act as Higgs fields for breaking of SU5 in this context. Now the problem within these two constructions is that actually the cycle inherited from torus are their own image. So basically in the debrain factor we have